back, everybody, to another episode of Drena Finds Out. This week I have the honor of sitting with Mr. Aldon Helmert. He is running for school board for Harrison County. For what district?
District 5.
District 5. So what area does District 5 cover?
Oh, District 5 is very weird. The way that the district's laid out, it covers portions of Wool Market back over into Orange Grove area, the northern Gulfport area, up into Socia. So it is pretty large area, and some of that is not as populated as the others. So Wool Market and the North Gulfport areas are the most populated.
Okay, so I first came into contact with you at one of the recent school board meetings, but I know that you had been to numerous. You were putting in the work before I think the media got a hold to everything that was going on, the decisions that were being made. So what drove you to want to run for that position?
Other people asked me if, other parents asked if I would. There was such a concern about the way that things had been handled with the virus and the plans and the preparation for the school year that were left in the air up until a couple weeks before school started. So because those things were kind of just hidden, so to speak, other parents asked me, since I had been involved, to step up and continue to advocate for their kids like I had been,
Right.
even though nobody was paying attention.
Exactly. So tell us a little bit about you. Are you from the coast?
Yes, I was product of military transplant. So I guess I moved here whenever I was about 2, and I've been on the coast since. Most of my younger years in Gulfport, the northern Gulfport area, and the past 20 years, my wife and I have lived on just the other side of Gulfport's line in Wool Market, and we've been there, like I said, for 20 years.
Okay. So you have children that are in the district as well?
Yes, our children attended the Harrison County school system up until this year.
Yeah. So like what type of, you did police work you mentioned before?
Yes, ma'am. I have run the gamut of things that I've done. I started working in high school at a grocery store here on the coast, Kroger, that's no longer here. And I left from there, and I actually was the assistant grocery manager at the Bruno's Food World that's right here, opened up where Hood's is now. And from there, I actually was at the Gulfport Police Department Reserves, and from there I continued my education and got my associates in criminal justice, and ended up hired by the Biloxi Police Department.
Okay.
So I worked at the Biloxi Police Department until January whenever I retired.
Oh, it's a lot of work you put in, so I think that you are like well versed in how things are working, kind of in touch with the way things are going right now. I know from the time that I was in school and you were in school, things are so different now, but I think it matters to have a child in that district and to know what all they're going through and have an understanding for things.
Right. It is, and it takes today's technology and the advancements in technology, it actually takes someone who is, I guess, current with those technology advancements. I am currently a senior at Mississippi State University in electrical engineering, so I've actually had the opportunity to engage some of these computer systems, let's say learning platforms that are implemented by the universities and colleges, and being a diverse group, because I've taken classes at USM, I've taken classes at Mississippi State, Mississippi Gulf Coast, as well as other colleges from Illinois. So I've had the opportunity to see those systems, and then as an electrical engineering student, I've had the fortune of being able to study some of the technology that's being implemented today.
Yeah, and I think it's very important because you have a lot of people who are in higher positions that are, I don't want to say on their way out of, they're not really can't really relate to the way that the things are changing, or not that they can't relate, but they're not really open
Right.
to being
And sometimes it is difficult to keep up with everything.
right.
And when I was in law enforcement, I didn't have as much time to be able to look into the technology like I do now. And of course, now that I'm taking a new path in life, I don't have the same amount of time to dedicate to those other things and study in law enforcement like I did.
Right.
So as time goes on and we progress in our lives, it is difficult to, I guess, keep a balance of all of those things. I know what it is to wake up daily concerning yourself with your children and other people's children, and I don't think that sometimes people get that. There are things that happen in this world that just happen and you can't control them. But then there are things that happen in this world that you can control.
Right.
And that's where we have to step up.
So you're running for District 5. What is it that you feel like what purpose do you think you would be able to benefit the students and parents of Harrison County School District in that position?
Well, first of all, what you have to ask yourself is what is it that Harrison County Schools has to offer? And the very first thing that I had to do is I had to look and examine what's around us. And when I say what's around us, one of the things that's known is that Harrison County School District is the 4th largest district in the state. So you can't discount the fact that there are 3 other districts that are larger than Harrison County. And what you have to do is you have to look in our area and see what's available to students at other districts. And you can't just compare that because those districts may not be as large as Harrison County. So you look outside and look at the other districts and you see that those students have more opportunities than our students at Harrison County. So the first place that I look is how do we find ourselves where people are equal? And right now, it's not that way. We have had the opportunity to look at curriculum from different areas in the state and specifically locally, and there is a wide difference between the number of classes and the depth of those classes that's offered between the Harrison County school system and other school systems. And what my vision would be is to make that even. I don't know how anybody can live with the idea that if you live on one end of Heron Street, right down the road from here, then you go to Gulfport and you have a lot more classes that you can take. And it's not just academics, it's technical classes also.
Right.
And then if you live on the north end of Heron Street, you don't get the same opportunity. You go to Harrison County Schools and the curriculum that's there, they may say, oh, we offer this class, but you can go ask and there's no students that are taking those classes.
Right.
It's just printed on paper.
Right.
So that would be the first place, is that we would have to look at how do we make things even. And it's not just Gulfport, it's Biloxi also.
Right.
The children in Biloxi have a distinct advantage over the children that are at Harrison County schools. So that would be the first thing, is how do we make that happen? I know that that's not something overnight, and I know that I'm not the education expert like we've discussed, but I think that I have the character to stand up and ask the question, why aren't we doing something?
Right.
And that's what I think needs to be asked now, is why aren't we doing something to make that different? If the argument is that things are being done, then again, I go back to the idea that things need to be done transparently.
Right.
We need to have the community involved. There are parents that are in this community that are technology experts. Look at the different businesses that we have in our community. Those people live in our community.
Right.
And we've got everything from NASA to the military bases that has all sorts of experts, and we're not drawing on that. We're not reaching out to the community. Because again, if we were, you'd hear about it. There would be something said.
Right. So I feel like I normally, whenever I talk to people that are running for different positions, I just want to know about that position. But the reason I want to have you on here is because I know that you've been putting in the groundwork before and you are transparent. And I feel like, especially this year with Harrison County School District, people have felt like there was an issue before compared to the other school districts on the coast, but like it kind of like blew up this year with the lack of work or the lack of options they provided for people with this whole pandemic.
If I thought that the children of Harrison County would be advocated for and that, you know, the children would be put first, I wouldn't be sitting here.
Yeah.
So this isn't me, and just like my law enforcement mission, that was like, hey, you know what, this is a path that God's going to take me down. And I was the first policeman in the state of Mississippi to make an arrest and charge somebody for human trafficking. And I can tell you right here, right now, that there are young ladies, women in this world that would not have had a chance at life had I not contacted them. There are young men in this world who were eat up with meth, crack, you name it, that wouldn't have had a chance in life had it not been for me or another policeman. And that's not us as humans, that's God putting the right people at the right place.
Yeah.
So my wife and I believe that this is what God's will is. And you know something? Like my preacher and I discussed, even if I don't get elected, guess what? God's stirring people. God's opening people's eyes to say, hey, I'm not going to stand for this.
And so I just want people to know that I really appreciate the work that you've been putting in, because I'm someone who, I know that this is happening, but I'm dealing with my life. Right. But you're someone that was there on the forefront at the very beginning of this, even before it happened, pushing for transparency, trying to get a better understanding and making sure you hold those people accountable. So I really feel like this is a position that you are well suited for. And I really don't like to tell people who they need to vote for, but I'm making myself an advocate for you and for this role because I think that it does matter. I feel like the children in Harrison County School District have been given a disadvantage. I feel like we're one of the largest, like you said, one of the largest school districts, and by that we should be an example. We should be leading, but right now we're not doing that. So I feel like if we get members on the board, like more people like you that are willing to put that work in, we can be in a better place than we are right now. And of course it won't happen overnight, but I know that with hard work and diligence that it can happen. So I really appreciate you talking with me. And do you have anything else that you want to say to the people watching?
I thank you for your kind words, first of all, but I don't think that people realize that in law enforcement there were few barriers when it came to a child. It didn't matter if I worked for the Biloxi Police, the Gulfport Police were there to help us. When it came to children, people always came together to do what was right to safeguard that child. And I've worked with multiple agencies, both here locally, across the state, and nationally, dealing with the protection and safety of children. And I don't understand how it is that we find ourselves in a position where the children don't come first.
Right.
And I think that comes from my religious views, that we should do for the people that can't do for themselves, and we should protect those people. So it's very humbling to hear you speak those kind of words to me.
So I want to thank you again for coming on. And I want to push for everybody to remember to get out and vote. Mr. Aldon Helmert, we're going to fix that part. Mr. Aldon Helmert, he will be on your ballot. I want you to vote with the thought of your children in mind and making a difference in their lives. And I really think that you can do that. So thank you again.